This system that I'm about to teach you is just no bullshit. It just works and it gets you a transformation in all the key components of your life within 6 months. My name is Rudy. I run a 7-figure marketing agency called Limitless Legal. So let's break it down. Let's just jump straight into it. The way that I like to break up my life is into 3 key buckets. When it comes to a transformation, these 3 things are the most important to me. For you, for example, relationships, social activities, things like that might be relevant. But for now, we want the most extreme transformative experience within 6 months. From my perspective, gym, which incorporates health and fitness, business, which is for me, online business, and then lastly, content. These are the 3 buckets that we want to focus on when it comes to this 6-month transformation. Now, the way I split up my goals is into 2 different categories of goals, because I get asked all the time, like, what is your approach to goal setting? I look at 2 different things. 1, a long-term based goal across 6 months, and then 2, input-based goals, which is a daily activity that you track. Now, let's talk about the long-term goals first. With health or fitness, this is entirely dependent on what you want to transform. If you're skinny fat, for example, and you've never been able to lose that lower belly fat, your goal in the 6-month period should be to lose all that fat so that you're down to 12% body fat or 13% body fat. Now, that is a long-term goal. That's something we can say we want to achieve within 6 months, but realistically, what on earth are we going to do on a day-to-day basis that's going to ensure that we can actually achieve that goal? And that's where the 2 input-based goals come in. And the reason it's 2 is because 80-20 rule. Out of all the 10 things that you could do to improve your health and fitness, what are the 20%, the top 20% of things that are actually going to move that needle? My 2 input-based goals can be tracking calories and sticking to the diet. And the second input-based goal, 12,000 steps in per day. So now every single day, I will tick or cross on a spreadsheet, on a fucking Google Doc, whether or not I achieve those 2 inputs. And that's going to push and progress me towards this long-term goal, which is the weight loss. So I hope that makes sense. Now, if you're unsure what those 2 input-based goals should be, write down 10 input-based goals that could improve your health and fitness and just select the 2 that you think are the most important. If you feel like there's 3, select the 3. Now, the most important rule, and it's going to apply to all of the different topics, is one thing. Don't have 2 failed input days in a row. What that means is, undoubtedly, we're fucking human, right? We're going to miss certain inputs. Like tomorrow, I've got a day filled with meetings. I might not get those steps in, but the day after, I have to get those steps in. That's how we build the habits, right? I've taken this from Atomic Habits, if you guys haven't read that book already. You cannot have 2 failed days in a row. Otherwise, you're not going to get to this long-term goal if you keep failing the daily input goal. So this is a realistic way of actually goal setting. You're thinking long-term and you're also thinking on a day-to-day basis. The other thing that I like to do is just train, get active, go in the gym. This is like a holistic overview of how you can actually change your life in 6 months. Now, these things might be different for you, so apply them to your specific needs. What is the most burning need that you need to change right now? That's what you should be changing when it comes to your health and fitness. Now, moving on, and this is the one we're going to go the deepest dive into, business. I love talking about business because business has given me so much freedom in my life, so much joy, but it also puts me through the most pain. Now, how are we going to get a genuine result when it comes to business within 6 months? Now, for a lot of people, 6 months might seem like it's way too long, right? How can I think 6 months ahead when I don't even know what I'm going to do with my business tomorrow? And this is a very beginner mindset. But what you need to again do is focus on the inputs, depending on what stage you are on your journey to online business. Now, you might be doing e-commerce, you might be running an agency like I do. You need to think about, again, what is the 20% activities, the top 20% activities that are going to actually move the needle the most. So write down 10 activities, yet again, that are related to your day-to-day activities in the business. And if you're a beginner, these things might be cold outreach, so sending emails. It might be something like building your CRM, like customizing Go High Level, which I'll talk about in a second. It might be scraping a database. It might be hiring people. Write down 10 activities that you could do on a day-to-day basis. Pick the 2 that are the most important. Now, this doesn't mean you're not going to do the rest of the 80% of the stuff, but with these 20% of activities, this is where you want to focus most of your attention. This is the things that you actually want to track. Now, another thing is most people suck at tracking, which is why I say Google Sheet. It's the easiest way to track. Create a Google Sheet and only pick 2 things. Now, if you say, oh, you know what? There's like 5 or 6 things that are really important. I'm going to try and track all of them as my daily inputs. You're not going to track them. If you put too many things, you're just not going to track them. Okay. When we talk about these 2 input-based goals, go right down to the raw inputs. Like every day I want to send 20 customized, personalized cold emails. Pick the thing that's going to allow you to inject money into your business. That's the best advice that I can give you. Actually going out and speaking to your prospects, speaking to your customers, trying to land clients. Now, the reason I'm speaking with so much passion about this is because so much of the time early on in my agency building career, I was just wasting hours creating branding assets, creating ads when I wasn't even running ads, just doing stupid things, trying to post on social media, all this kind of stuff. When in reality, all I needed to do was get enough money in the business that I could start running ads. And the way I needed to get enough money in the business was to do enough cold outreach that I get a couple of clients to pay me. And then eventually I deliver a result, and then I can get testimonials, and then I can run ads. I hope this isn't going over your head. By the way, guys, if you have any questions throughout this entire 6-month transformation video, just drop a comment below. I respond to everyone, or just DM me on Instagram. All right, let's keep moving forward. Another thing that you're going to focus on, which is actually a long-term goal, so forgive the error here, is start creating an authority asset, okay? So across the 6 months, I want you to create a project that you're going to be doing on the side. So you've got your 2 input-based goals, and then you've got 1 long-term project. Now, regardless of the online business, okay, unless you're doing fucking drop shipping, if you're doing a service-based business, I want you to create an authority building asset. Now, what is an authority building asset? It's an asset used for the marketing of your business that takes both time and authority to actually create. For example, I created a book which took me about 6 months to actually write. As you can see here, this book is called Law Firm Growth Secrets. It's not a shitty PDF or resource that I whipped up in a day. It took me 6 months of consistent writing and breaking down ideas and reworking them and sending it off to editors and doing all of this stuff, creating this project essentially. And then at the end of it, I had a 100-page book. It became an Amazon bestseller, and I used this as the front end of my marketing. It's become a fantastic high quality lead magnet. So you want to do something like this. Another thing that you can do is potentially look at building a community. So as you guys can see here, I've got a community of law firm owners, 1.1K members. At the start, I didn't have 1.1K members. I had a couple of hundred in the first few months. Again, this is a long-term project that is ultimately going to benefit your business maybe 6 months to 1 year down the line. The goal of this project isn't to get a client that week or that month. Again, this is a long-term investment that you're making in the business. So I want you to pick one project that you're going to pursue that allows you to build authority. When it comes to day-to-day operations in the business, I'm going to give you guys the absolute source on how I operate my agency. I keep things brutally simple. And most of you guys that are stuck under 30K per month are just overcomplicating it. You're watching too much random content. You're consuming junk. You're trying too many tools. So let me just go into my tool stack for you, okay? You're going to use a tool called Go High Level as your primary CRM. Slack for client communications and for internal communications. Let's keep pushing. As far as AI tools go, ChatGPT Premium, that's it. That's it. Okay, don't worry about all the other AI videos, agents, this and that. ChatGPT has its own agents. You can also create projects. The next thing, speaking about AI, the last tool, Higgsfield is a lifesaver. We use this for our ad creatives. We even use this for our clients' ad creatives as well. Jump into Higgsfield Soul. This is like Pinterest for AI images. You jump in here, and you can literally just select an image and then replace it with a database of yourself. And it's going to change that person in the image to you. So you can imagine all the use cases for this. It's also connected to a bunch of other tools like Nano Banana. So let's say we recreate this image. Let's say maybe we work with e-commerce businesses. We want to change the brand of this jacket. We can simply create the image how we want and then change the logo. Now, as far as organizing your calendar, okay? Now, I used to flood my calendar like a retard just because I wanted to look busy. That was the worst mistake that I ever made. I was stuck doing all of the 80% of things that I didn't actually need to be doing in the business, rather than focusing on just executing really strongly on the 20% of things that actually move the needle. Now, how did I fix that? I use this view here, which is week view. So I can see the whole week view. Every day I categorize my tasks. If it's red, that means it's urgent. If it's green, that means I just need to do it. If I don't finish the task in the day, I drag it across to the next day. So this here, these all day events are used as your daily tasks. And then every meeting that you've got jumps into your calendar, and events and things like that where you've got specific times that you have to execute them. But as you can see, this day I had a lot of to-do things. I was really stuck in the weeds of the agency and I had no call scheduled that day. This is how you actually buy back your time, right? This is a concept from Dan Martell and also from Naval Ravikant. You don't want to just be busy for the sake of it. You actually want to keep buying back your time. My calendars used to be packed with sales calls. They used to be packed with me just doing absolute bullshit, me trying to use time boxing and all of these things. Keep it simple. You've got your list of tasks to do for the day on a Sunday, map it out for the week, what you think your tasks are going to be, put in your meetings, anything that you don't need to do, look at it. Can someone in your staff or team do it? Can a VA handle it? Cool, assign it to them. One more thing I want to talk about before we get into the last thing, which is content, is while all of this shit is going on, focus only on what is moving you forward in this transformation, i.e., the 3 output-based goals that you have. Is this moving you forward towards those goals? Yes or no? If it's not, we're not focusing on it in these next 6 months. No distractions, okay? One of the best pieces of content that you can consume, because I'm not telling you to become a robot. You still need to watch content. You still need to switch off. Like you are a human at the end of the day. Podcasts are brilliant. But I suggest don't fall into this whole world of self-help content that can very easily pull you in, which makes you feel like you're moving the needle, which makes you feel like you're getting things done, but in reality, you're just sitting there consuming. Don't fall into that trap, okay? So limit yourself. Within the day, you want to listen to one podcast, that's fine, but end it there. And maybe actually switch off from work, because that's going to allow you to keep up momentum when you're working your ass off for the rest of the day. Okay, so maybe you're interested in, I don't know, archaeology. Listen to a podcast about archaeology or conspiracy theories. Go listen to a podcast about that. It doesn't always need to be self-help stuff. A lot of you guys get obsessed with self-help and then you don't actually take action. The goal is to simplify, execute, and win. Action beats inaction every single time, which is why be so careful with these 2 things. No distractions. No bullshit. Don't fall into that trap, guys. And the last and most important thing, now when we execute on a gym transformation and a business transformation, where do we actually get the leverage? Where is the leverage? It's in content, okay? If you're going through the effort of transforming your life in gym, in health, and in business at the same time, you best believe that you're going to document that process or that journey. So what that looks like is actually getting into a routine of making content. YouTube is by far the best tool to do this. I've experimented, I've done all sorts of different things. As you get more advanced, I reckon then you can maybe cycle back into short form, but genuinely I find short form harder than long form. And the reason is simple, because long form, first of all, the viewership is more engaged. They sit there, they want to watch a 10, 20, 30-minute video. You can also speak like this, candidly to the camera. You don't have to always use things like hooks and rehooks. You don't have to worry about making it the best, most premium quality. Right now, I have a light in front of my face. I've got a nice background and a decent camera, and that's it. No fancy editing is going into this. I use Screen Studio. This is another tool that I probably should have mentioned up here. Use Screen Studio, okay? Don't use fucking Loom, just use Screen Studio. If you don't know what it is, check it out. Focus on YouTube. Make content. It is so important that you do this. You won't understand the access that you can get by making content until you realize that people that are 2 to 3 steps beneath you are going to start messaging you and asking you, how did you do this? How did you do that? So on and so forth. And this is how I'm able to run a coaching business alongside the agency, because now I'm so freed up in the agency that I actually am loving and enjoying doing this coaching. Okay. Now, the next thing is, if you get into a nice cadence with these YouTube videos, let's say the input-based goal is 1 YouTube video per week, then I suggest you can hire a $5 to $10 editor on Upwork to just clip up those videos and start going with the short form stuff as well. And this, my friends, is how you're going to transform your life holistically, but brutally in 6 months. Now, I hope you guys got a ton of value from this video. If you like the way that I talk, if you like the topics I talk about, go check out my Instagram. It's Rudy Ahi, Rudiahi, and I will see you guys in the next one.